Good Sunday morning, everybody. The 100 best TV shows to buy, rent, and download, and now the list, the history, all in one book. Here's the book, Tasteland from Quindaro Press. For the past 15 years of television, the author Aaron Barnhart, who covers this beat for the Kansas City Star, his blog is tvbarn.com. We welcome Mr. Barnhart to the segment this morning. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Mr. Katz.
What do you like about TV?
Well, I like
in a very broad sense, as a medium. What is it about TV? It could be, otherwise, you'd be covering something else.
Yeah, I have a very strong kind of childhood emotional attachment to it. You know, I had a kind of some rough years there when I was growing up, and television, they call it, you know, sometimes the one-eyed babysitter, but for me it was a companion for me. I had an audio cassette recorder. This is pre-VCR days. I'm kind of dating myself. But I would sit down in front of the TV and record theme songs and old Saturday Night Live shows, which weren't old then, they were new. And it was something that I could relate to, something where I didn't need sort of parental approval or friends, you know. I mean, I could really connect to it.
Is it the vast wasteland that so many people criticize it as?
Well, I named my book Tasteland for precisely that reason. It's often referred to as a vast wasteland. And maybe in 1961, when the vast wasteland speech was made, that was more the case. But today, you know, I feel very lucky to be a television critic at this period of time where there's so much quality television and so many ways to watch it. That's the other thing, is that if you miss a great show last night, well, you can call it up, watch it on the Hulu, or maybe you've recorded it on your DVR.
Which begs the question, do we as an industry have a handle as to how this product that we call television is going to be delivered, say, 5 years from now?
Yeah, you know what, I actually think that there's some pretty smart people working in research, because, you know, they've been telling us for years now that the DVR was going to change television, but it wasn't going to destroy television. There was people who say that they skip through the ads, actually skip through most of the ads, but they watch enough of the ads, and then on top of that, they're watching more TV than ever. Why? Because they're recording shows that they like to watch, and so they're spending more time actually watching TV, and that means overall they are watching commercials. I think as time goes on, you're going to see commercial breaks tailored more to individual viewers, because these shows have to be sponsored, Chris.
So the business model doesn't change necessarily there.
It just, you know, compared to the 15 years prior to that, where the business model was pretty much stayed, you've had not only DVR, but one thing we haven't talked about yet, but is a big part of my 100 best list, is cable. You know, 15 years ago, almost no cable network was doing original programming except for HBO, and now you've got some of the best shows on TV, Mad Men and Damages. Well, they're all cable shows.
And do you find your favorites on the broadcast networks or on cable?
I'm finding them on cable. I have to be honest. The #1 show on my list, I think the most ambitious show that's ever been staged, is The Wire, which was, of course, an HBO program. #2 on my list is The Sopranos, another HBO program. Sure. And then right behind it is, and gaining rapidly, is Mad Men, which is on a basic cable channel that 15 years ago was just airing movies, you know, AMC, and now they've got Breaking Bad and this tremendous show called Mad Men.
So, how have the broadcast networks fallen behind, and can they catch up?
Well, you know, part of the thing that the networks, almost the burden they have to carry, is that they're broadcasters. They don't get to appeal to this very small slice of the viewing pie that the cable channels typically go after. Like Hallmark will go after women in their 30s and 40s. If a broadcaster is doing their job properly, ABC is doing a good job of it, CBS is doing a really good job of it, then they're trying to reach a wide variety of people. They've got something for younger people, they've got something for people in the advertiser-friendly group, but they also are getting the older people to watch as well. They all are necessary. So that hasn't prevented CBS from doing something a little more daring and cutting edge, such as the CSI type of shows, and that hasn't stopped NBC from doing edgier comedy in terms of, say, The Office.
But on the other hand, cable networks can be a bit, well, in some cases, a lot edgier than broadcast networks are. Is that the difference?
Well, it's not just that they're edgy, but they're able to show content that just wouldn't get the kind of number that broadcasters want. For instance,
they can take more chances on cable as opposed to...
Exactly. Take my 100 best list. The back 40 of that list, numbers 61 through 100, are all documentaries. Why? Because documentaries are stories told by people who, some of them are in television, some of them are not in television. They've got a camera, but they've sold their story to a television network, often very, very compelling. But they get one shot on television, usually, maybe a couple of repeats, and that's it. Well, when I put together this list from my reviews of the last 15, 16 years, I said, let's isolate these shows that you can buy, rent, or download. That way somebody reading it could go right out and rent or buy them. And I just found that these documentaries were some of the great gems that often are buried in the television schedule. They aired once or twice and then they were gone, and I want them to be remembered.
And this is also a book, in addition to the list, you delve into the history of many of these great moments in this medium and the history behind some of these great shows.
I bore witness to it, is how that happened. I started out in 1994 writing exclusively about the Letterman-Leno shows, a little internet thing that turned into a freelance thing. In 1997, 13 years ago, the Kansas City Star brought me here. And since then, I have been on the television and media beat, watching everything from, you know, the emergence of the new quality dramas like The West Wing and The Sopranos, to 9/11 and the huge ramifications of televised war with these embeds riding along, to two very dramatic, three dramatic election campaigns, if we count 2000, which was kind of dull right up to Election Day. You have a whole sweep of history going right up to the present day with another set of late-night wars. So quite the beat. I call it 15 years of both turbulence and excellence.
Once again, the book is Tasteland from Quindaro Press. The author of The Star's Aaron Barnhart, who also blogs at tvbarn.com. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Chris.
Back to you.